And now my bar's twice as bright. I learned that one time to take it all in stride. And from that first time, I played between the lines. You hurt me one time, but it won't happen twice.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Angular Philippines. Once again, we are back. I'm CJ Villafranca, one of the community lead of Angular Philippines, and welcome to Angular Meetup 2021. So, this is our fourth talk. So, this is our fourth Saturday, and we have a very special guest this evening. So, before that, I will share all of our partners and sponsorships that made this event possible. So this is Angular Talk Session 2021, and this is our fourth event this August 2021. And here's our list of our talks. So if you missed some of our speakers last Saturday, so we have our YouTube channel, and I will be also posting all of the videos in our PFB page. And also, we are also partnered with PWA Pilipinas, so they're having their second anniversary right now. And actually, in this hour also, they are also having their talk. Uh, so if you want to also tune in into their talk, so just go to their FB community or FB page to watch their current conference or current talk. So yeah, if you want also to go back to their talks, so they also have their YouTube channel and even their FB page, so you can also access their previous speakers. Yes, I've also been a speaker in PWA Pilipinas, so if you want to learn about the micro front ends or other talks or other topics that is related to PWA, so yeah, go to their FB page or YouTube. And right now, as I have said, there is also a happening event in PWA Pilipinas. So if you want to tune in, so go to their FB page or YouTube video. Okay. And also, thank you for Auth0 for partnering with us. So we have speakers coming from our Auth0 ambassadors, and also thank you for the Auth0 ambassador community. And now I will introduce our speaker for this evening, and let's move on. So our speaker for this evening is Santosh Yadav. So Santosh is a GDE for Angular, GitHub Star, and an Auth0 ambassador. He loves contributing to Angular and NgRx. He works as a software consultant and writes for indepth.dev. He is also the author of the Ngx-Builders package and part of NestJsAddOns core team. He is also running Tech Talks with Santosh Talk Show, where he invites the industry experts to discuss different technologies. So what are we waiting for? So let's welcome Santosh in our virtual stage. Hi, Santosh.
Hey, hi. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes, actually, thank you also for accepting our invite. So how are you?
Doing great.
Yeah,
How
actually,
about you?
yeah, we're great. What time is it on your? Actually, where are you from? Actually, Santosh.
Actually, I think the first time we spoke, there was some confusion. It's 5:30 p.m. I'm from India actually.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not 11:30. I thought it's
No, no, no.
evening. Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for accepting our invite, and it's really an honor to have an Angular GD here in Angular Philippines. Yes. Yep. So yeah, I guess you can have our virtual stage and start your talk right away.
yeah, sure. Let me just put the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, you can add it.
Yeah. There.
Cool. Hey everyone. Thanks a lot for uh, thanks a lot for joining today. So today I'm going to talk about Angular. Of course, I love talking about Angular, and we will see how actually you can become productive using Angular. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about myself. You already know a lot, but in case you are not aware, I'm a GD for Angular and GitHub Star from India and Auth0 Ambassador. We also started something called This Is Learning, which is a new platform where we uh, we are doing a lot of stuff. We have started live streaming. We will be doing some tech talks as well. We will be it's a platform where you can also write blog posts. So in case any one of you are actually interested to come join us, feel free to connect me on Twitter and I will onboard you, where you can actually write blog posts for us, probably do streaming for us, and maybe become a part of our talk show as well. So this is my Twitter handle below, so you can go to just Twitter and Santosh.dev. This is how you can find me. I'm also on LinkedIn, so in case you are on LinkedIn, you can just send me a message there as well. And this is my YouTube channel. I have not mentioned this is Angular's YouTube channel right now, but yeah, I can give you the details once I receive the DM. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah. So first and most important thing, right? So in case you are working in an organization, what matters them a lot, it's productivity. They just want things to be delivered fast. They want to reach the market fast. And this is why Angular is actually built keeping productivity in mind. How? Let's go ahead and see that. So whenever we talk about Angular, this is the logo which comes into everyone's mind, right? I mean, this is Angular, red logo and white A. But let me tell you, this is just not Angular. This is Angular. So what is this? So Angular actually comes with a lot of tools which you can use and become more productive. So we'll be talking about all those tools. This is just an introduction. I'm not going to be going to go in more detail about them, but yeah, I'll just introduce you to what different tools you have and how you can actually become more productive using those tools. So first, let's see what's there, right? So it has built-in module for forms. In case you have used other framework or libraries, you have to struggle, right? I mean, you have to choose, okay, now I have this particular library and now I have to actually build forms. So let's go ahead and search for a form. But in Angular, of course, this is built in. Routing is built in, so you don't have to actually go ahead and use some third-party packages. You also have pre-configured unit testing, so you don't have to actually waste your time doing that. You have ability to use and build your own tools. That's amazing, right? I mean, a framework which gives you functionality that you can actually go ahead and override the build tools which they have and then write your own. So that's also possible. It has built-in support for PWA. It has been built-in support for SSR and pre-rendering, and then also pre-rendering support for localization and I10. And then you have also something called dependency injection, which is available with Angular. And then you also get Angular Material UI component, which is actually maintained by Angular team itself. So you don't have to, I mean, you can actually rely on that, right? It's a production tested and ready for your production application and many more. So let's go ahead and see how you can actually get started first with Angular. So in other frameworks or technologies, I'm not comparing, but yeah, a lot of different frameworks and libraries, they use their own rendering engine. But once you come to Angular actually uses its own pre-rendering engine, and we will be seeing that in some time. But let's see how to get started, right? So to start with Angular, you have an Angular CLI. You can just install Angular CLI, and then you can create a new project using ng-new. So this is how you will be doing once you install Angular CLI in your Local machine, I'm sure you know how what -g does. So it's something which will install this Angular CLI globally, and then you can run this ng new, an application name from anywhere, and then a new application will be created. Now, what next you need to do as once you start a new project? So you have to actually run it and see how it looks like, right? So this is where you have ngserve command. You can just do ngserve, and application will be like started on localhost 4200, and you can just go through whatever changes you have made. Now what next? So once you have created your application, you have tested it locally. Now you need to deploy it on production. So this is again where Angular really shines. So you have ngbuild --- prod command, which is changed, I think. Now you have ngbuild --- configuration equals to production. You can run that command, and a production will be created for you. What next? So once you have your production build ready, you need to deploy it. How Angular CLI can help you. So Angular CLI has something called ngDeploy, where they have integration with multiple cloud providers, I would say. You can just do ngDeploy from your local terminal. You don't have to actually go to some server or something. You of course need some settings based on which cloud provider you're trying to use. Either it's Azure or AWS, Firebase, Netlify, or GitHub Pages. So you can run the command ngDeploy from your local terminal, and then your application will be deployed on any machine, right? So in case you're doing a POC, you don't have to go anywhere else. You can just do everything from starting your project to building your project to deploying your project from Angular CLI itself. How amazing is that? So let's talk about template, which we were supposed to start, right? So other frameworks, they have their own, of course, template engines. And if you go to Node.js, if you have used ASP.NET in past, they have their own different rendering engine, right? CSS, ASPX, you had Java had its own rendering engine. So every different technologies has their own rendering engines. But one thing where Angular really shines, it's just HTML. So you don't have to learn about a new rendering engine. You can just use write HTML and then your normal HTML syntax. But there are three things which you need to understand before you go ahead and start writing your HTML. Of course, you need to bind some data, right? And you have to interact with whatever controls you have. So this is where you have to learn about how to bind the data on your page or on your template. So there are two ways in case you want to bind the data. First is, of course, you can just use string interpolation syntax, and then you can use curly braces and variable name. That's it. Also, Angular allows you to use properties, any valid properties of your HTML to bind the data. So here you can see an example. I have used unit text is equals to variable name. If I have to do the same in JavaScript, you know how to do it, right? I mean, you have to say document.get element by ID, then get that element, and then dot unit text or unit HTML, and then it will be binded. But no, in Angular, you can just do it from your template. That's the power of Angular templates. You can just bind to any valid property as your HTML has. For events, of course, once you have your data available, your user may want to interact with it. Let's say sending mails or deleting records, adding records. So how you can achieve that? So this is where event binding comes into picture. You can just use any JavaScript event. So you have, for example, on click, on double click, just remove on and then use this banana syntax. We call it as a banana syntax. So you just mention click in your banana syntax and equals to function, and it will be called once you click on that particular button. So this is how your HTML template looks like. Dependency injection, one of the most powerful feature of Angular. I mean, it was available from AngularJS days. AngularJS was the first framework, which introduced dependency injection on your front-end framework. It's not supported by most of the libraries and frameworks which is out there. They are in some ways, but they are actually not dependency injection. So in Angular, in case you want to use, let's say, a service, right, which interacts with your backend, or let's say if it interacts with your GraphQL backend. So what you can do, of course, it's not a good practice to write everything inside a component. This is where actually you can write services. By using injection or dependency injection, what you can do is you can actually just go ahead and inject that particular service inside your component or any other services, and then you can use it. You must be wondering what dependency injection is. In case you have never used it, it's a design pattern. So dependency injection says you should never create a new instance by yourself. What do you mean by that, right? So whenever you have a class, for example, this class, right, product component. In case I want to use this class, how you can do it? Of course, by using new, right? So you can say, okay, cons product equals to new product component or new product service. But you don't have to do that using dependency injection. In dependency injection, you can just inject this service inside your constructor. And in case you already have dependency injection idea, you may have used it in Java or .NET. So there are two ways, right? You have constructor injection and property injection, which is available. Here you have to use constructor injection, and that's it. Now the new instance which will be created will be handled by framework itself. So you don't have to do it manually. You don't have to even do any configuration to actually achieve the dependency injection. It's just done. Another advantage of dependency injection is you can also write or convert any, let's say, browser APIs, right? For example, I have given an example here how you can use local storage as a service. So I'm not talking about using directly local storage inside your application wherever you want to. Rather than that, you can actually go ahead and create a service and then inject it. So here I have created a token, and then I'm using that token inside my service. So that's possible using DI forms. So of course, as I said, in other frameworks, you may have to actually go ahead and look for different solutions which are available for your forms. But in Angular already gives you two ways. So there are two. First is, of course, your template-driven forms. Template-driven forms are something which is quite similar to what you do in HTML5, right? So forms tag, and then you can just bind the data. The only thing which is different is your forms. You have to go ahead and import forms module in case you want to use template-driven forms. And forms also allows you to have two-way data binding. I'm sure most of you are aware of MVC concept, which is like applicable everywhere, right? Whichever framework or whichever library you choose, most of them actually work on the two-way data binding thing. And then you have reactive forms. Reactive forms is more of like you go ahead and create your forms in your TypeScript file rather than your HTML, and it gives you more control. But just to tell you, I mean, it's not like reactive forms and template-driven forms are totally different. They use the base APIs. I mean, the base APIs are same. It's only a matter of choice. I mean, how you would like to write your code. So you can achieve the same thing using reactive forms. You can achieve the same thing using your template-driven forms. So just try them both in case and figure out which is best for your team. I mostly use reactive forms because most of the cases it makes writing forms really easy for me, and that's why I prefer reactive forms. But a lot of developers also use template-driven forms. So it's not like one is better than the other. It's not. So how to create forms? This is a simple template. You can see we just use form tag, right? I mean, everywhere you go, how you create a form using form tag. And then these are some extra syntax which needs to be written. So form control and form group and form control. And these are some extra syntax which we have to write, but otherwise you have to just write form. What about routing, right? So if you go to, if you want to actually go ahead and create your enterprise application, of course, you need navigation inside your application. So Angular does provide routing built in. So you don't have to do it, or you don't have to actually go ahead and use any third-party frameworks or libraries. So in how you can actually configure your route. So first thing is, of course, you have to configure it. So you can just do path and component. Even though you have used, let's say, React, or you have used any other library or framework, you may say that, okay, this syntax is pretty similar, because of course, most of the frameworks actually, or languages, templates actually use the same format. So path and component, right? So you have to define path. If I click on this particular path, which component should render? So this is your first thing. Once you configure this, you have to actually go ahead and provide the links to your user. How you can do that? You have just something known as outer link. Do not use href. Href actually causes a reload on your page. So this is something which I still keep messing with it. But when you start as a new Angular developer, you make that mistake a lot. You use href and then you realize, okay, your page is getting reloaded somehow. So router link is the best way to actually use in case you are using Angular routing. And this router outlet is something which you have to place. So Angular can figure out, okay, there is a router outlet. So in case I click on home, I have to render this home component after this router outlet. So most of the time I miss this router outlet generally in my demos, and then I've just bang my head what's going on wrong. So make sure in case you're using routing and nothing works, so probably you're missing a router outlet. And you can also do nested routes. So that's also possible. So in case you want to, you have full top level route and then another page, you want to actually nest something based on your click on your same page, you can do that. So it allows, it's a really advanced router. I mean, you will get everything which you can wish for inside same router library. But in case you have a large app, right? So if I just keep adding features to my application, of course, at one point of time, you will find, okay, my application is so used that it is taking a lot of time to load, and now my users are actually going away. So how you can do that? Of course, you may have heard about something called lazy loading, right? Pretty impressive thing which has happened to a web in last few years, because in earlier days it was not available. Let me tell you, it was not available. So if you have used ASPX or Java, where we used to actually go ahead and use jQuery, right? So I'm sure most of you might have used jQuery sometime, right? So we used to actually load everything on your page load. So it used to be like really heavy, but no one actually cared about the user experience, I would say. In those days, it was like, okay, those are enterprise applications, so why it matters. Now it does matter, right? Even your enterprise application are not going to give you a benefit of doubt. So your application needs to run faster. So you can do that. Angular allows you to do it with a single line of change. So you can do lazy loading by just changing your code from component to load children. So using load children, what you can do is you can split your code into multiple chunks, multiple lazy loaded chunks, which can be loaded based on what you choose. I mean, there are multiple configurations available. Generally, it is loaded on demand, but you can actually go ahead and use few other libraries where your library can determine when it needs to be loaded based on how your user interacts with the application. So that those are the advanced things which are possible, but you may have to actually look for other libraries. So this is lazy loading, and Angular is working on. So you may notice that I have mentioned something called module. So right now, this is something which is possible at module level, but in future, you may actually get the functionality where you can actually just say component. That's possible in future. API calls. Now, once you start writing your enterprise application or any application, you need to interact with the APIs. How to do it? Of course, you have fetch APIs, you have Ajax, which is available, but Angular actually takes care of everything. So Angular has something known as HTTP client. So what you have to do is you have to use HTTP client module. Again, I'm not saying you have to actually go ahead and use some third-party library. It is part of Angular itself. So you can use HTTP client module. Once you use HTTP client module, it allows you to access HTTP client, which gives you all the methods. I'm sure you know REST APIs. So you have get, post, put, delete, all the methods which are now part of HTTP client. And then you can say, okay, http.get, post, put, delete, whatever you want to, whichever API you want to call. And then you can just give the API path and it is done. So this is how you can interact with your backend. Now, all the big corporations, right? They are expanding and they don't use a single framework, or they don't use a single library. So you will find out that eventually other team is using React and there is another team which is using Vue.js, or someone is using Stencil. So it is possible. And somehow, let's say your other teams hears about, okay, you are doing some, let's say UI library, and you have a component which takes care of most of the requirement they have. So the team which is actually using React reaches out to you and says, hey, look, so we are looking for a similar solution, and we figured out you already have that particular solution available with us. And then you say, okay, but we are using Angular. So what? So Angular allows you to actually convert your your Angular components to web components. What you have to do is you have to just add add Angular elements and then give the project name to whichever project you want to convert to Angular elements, or web components. And then you have a API called create custom element. So this is the API which you can use. So here there is an example where this is something which is derived from or taken from the docs itself, Angular docs. So you can see I'm converting pop-up component to a web component called pop-up element, and then I can go ahead and use this pop-up element anywhere. I mean, let it be React, let it be any framework or technology, even vanilla JavaScript, right? So I can also use these components everywhere. So this is how you can convert your Angular components to web components. And PWS, right? I'm sure you may have heard about that, okay, PWA is our future, and there are a lot of things, a lot of APIs which are being added to make your PWA experience really great. So, and one of them is Project Fugu, which is driven by Google Chrome team. So they are doing amazing stuff. They are doing a lot. They're adding a lot of libraries, and they are going to benefit PWA. So your mobile experience and web experience becomes same. So that's what PWA wants to achieve, right? Progressive web apps. What in case I want to add it? So let's say your manager comes to you and says, "Hey, look, I heard about PWA, and what? Let's convert our application which is available to PWA." And you will be like, "Okay, now I have to go ahead and learn about PWA." No, in Angular you can just do ng-add Angular PWA. All the configurations will be provided to you, and you can just within few hours you can actually upload your application which is a PWA. So that's about PWA. Localize your app. Now, over the years, I would say one most important thing is that all the big corps, right, they want to actually reach out to every individual in your country. Let it be, so language is not a barrier at all now. And so if you see, a lot of organization has their websites available, and they give you choice to in which language you want to see it. And most of the time you will see that it is displayed in your own local language, right? So Angular gives a solution to that. So you can go ahead and use internationalization and localization. You have to just do ng-add Angular localize, and then there are a few things which you have to do. Angular uses IATN tags to replace this values based on what language you want to use. And oh, this is something from like few years ago, right? Now Angular has advanced too much that now you can actually go ahead and do this localization stuff in your TS files as well. So it's not like that you can just convert these values in your HTML. No, you can actually access all these values in your TS files as well, in your backend as well. That's possible. So once you actually give your all IATN tags, you can just run Ngx-Builders, which will actually give you multiple files. It will not convert for you, just to give you an heads up that it will not do conversion for you. So a lot of organization has their own people who are doing or writing the conversion in multiple languages, right? There are many consultants which are available as well, which what they do, they just convert your text from your web page to their own language based on whatever you want to achieve, right? Because it's really important, because sometimes when you use Google search and you search something in English and in your local language, it may mean something offensive, right? And no one wants to actually go ahead and give a bad impression to their users. So this is really a big market, I would say. And it gives you three formats. So it gives you three formats as of now. So you can use Xclif 1.2, 2, and XMB. And these are the most standard formats which are used in the translation industry. So you can convert in this, and then that's it. So you have to actually, now based on which language you want to build, you have to just provide that configuration. Unit testing, which is really important, right? I mean, of course, unit testing gives you confidence that your application works. So how to do that? Of course, you may have to actually choose, let's say, for example, I want to use Mocha, you want to use something else, ABC, or some other framework, or some other unit testing tool. So Angular comes with Karma and Jasmine built in. So you don't have to do anything. So you have zero configuration effort. You have unit testing configured with Karma and Jasmine. You don't have to do it manually. And then you can just run ng test, and that's it. Your test will be, you have to write test. That's one important thing, right? I mean, it will not write test for you, but you have to write your own test. In case you want to use any other tools here, that's very important. I will just let you know at the end of the slide. SSR. So let's say your manager comes in and says, "Hey, look, our client is asking for SEO. He wants a better SEO. So what needs to be done?" And you say, "We need to do SSR." So he says, "Okay, let's do it." And now you have to like go ahead and learn about how to do SSR. In Angular, it's taken care for you. So what you can do is you can just say ng-add Universal Express Engine. This is an engine which will use it will configure server-side rendering with Express Server. In case you want to use something else, you may need to look for some community-based solution. For example, there was one for .NET, I remember. You can probably use that in case you have a .NET-based server, right? But here it will be used your Express Server will be used. And it also provides a dev server with live reload functionality. It means you can just go ahead and write your code run it locally and then check if your SEO is working or not. That's possible. It also provide pre-rendering functionality. I mean, there is some difference between SSR and pre-rendering. Pre-rendering is something where your page is already compiled and available on server, and based on your request, it will be just downloaded. That's it. There won't be any request or anything else. So probably in case you have a 404 pages or some static pages like privacy or some other stuff where you just have static data, you can pre-render those pages. It will just work faster than anything, right? Code sharing. So once your application grows, so code sharing and authoring libraries. So let's say your application is growing, and then you realize that now actually client is asking for a new application where I can just go ahead and use a lot of stuff which I've already written. So how you can do that? So Angular allows you to actually go ahead and create and publish libraries, which you can like use in the same application, as well as you can publish outside on NPM, so others can also use it. It also provides ng packager configuration. You don't have to do anything, no configuration required, just to let you know. You can share code across multiple apps or even the libraries. How you do it? So you say ng-generate libname, and then you say ng-build your library name -fn prod, and then you can go to distributable folder which will be created, and then you can just do npm publish. That's it. You don't have to do any extra configuration. That's it. Now you can publish your library on npm, and millions of Angular developers can go ahead and use it. Angular compiler, I think one of the most important thing, or I would say one of the amazing thing which makes Angular really shine is Angular compiler. So let's see what it provides you. So you can actually, using Angular compiler, you can do a lot of stuff here. There are a few things like you can debug your template, you can debug and test your component, you can get compile time errors. So here, let's see an example, right? So here, if you remember in previous slide, while talking about template, I said any valid HTML tag can be used. So here, what I did is I made a mistake. So I said inner text, T is not capital. Some languages will give you this information when you run your code in browser, but in Angular, you get all this information inside IDE, and you can also get this information when you're actually serving your code locally. So when you say ng-serve, and Angular compiler figures out, okay, there's an inner text. I don't know what inner text means. So it will give you all these errors inside your terminal, and you can just go ahead and fix it and then go ahead and deploy your application. So you don't have to actually run application every time and then see the code. So that's possible. Angular DevTools. So recently Angular DevTools was announced. This DevFest. So they announced Angular DevTools, which is available on Chrome as an extension. So here I'll just so this is the application which I have created. So you can go ahead and inspect. So first you have to actually go ahead and install Angular DevTools. So you can search for Angular DevTools. Right. So this is the extension. I'll just share it in private chat in case. And this is available for everyone. I got the access when it was in beta. So once you install Angular DevTools, which is already installed by more than 80,000 developers, you will get an option. So here, if I just go ahead and open my DevTools, we just zoom in, you will get an Angular extension. And now you can actually go ahead and see your entire component tree. You can also go ahead and change, for example, here, right? So I have this ecom product has some properties. I can go ahead and change and see what happens when I actually change the properties. So you can see the entire table which was available is gone. I can just change all these properties inside my DevTools and see how your application behaves. So that's possible. It also comes to the profiler. So in case, let's say you do some action, let's start the profiler and then interact with your application, and it will tell you, okay, so once I clicked on something, what happened? So you have bar chart, but most important is flame graph. It will let you know, okay, what was executed. So here, the component which was taking time is product component, because it had to re-render this header component multiple times, and then it also had ng-if, which needs to re-render something. Here also you can see the only change was actually inside. So this green bars, right? This is something which has changed. So here it was actually product component. Here inside product component only something changed. So you will be able to figure out this by using this flame graph. And tree maps it gives you okay how much time each component took, right, to finish the entire operation. In case you have some performance bottlenecks, this is where you can actually go ahead and check it by using this profiler. Angular language service. Again, I said you can also see those errors which you actually write while writing your code inside your terminal, inside your editor as well. So Angular language service has integration with your most of the editors. It is integrated with VS Code, even with Visual Studio as well. And JetBrains IDE also contains the integration with Angular language service. So Angular language service will actually give you all the errors inside your editor itself. So let's say here, in this example, I'm getting an error when I try to use department list because department list does not exist. So what I can do is I can just fix the chain and then just start typing, and your Angular language service will tell you, okay, it will give you intelligence as well. You can see, you can choose which property you want to use, and it gives you a squiggly lines that's saying, okay, this property does not exist. I mean, what you're trying to do. And then you can just fix your code and then serve your code, right? Rather than actually making the changes, running your code, seeing it in browser, and then going back. No, you don't have to do that. But in case you need a UI library, so what you can do is you can just use something which is available, or you can just use something which on Angular already offers. So Angular offers Angular Material and CDK. CDK is a little bit advanced. In case you want to build your own component, you can go ahead and use CDK as well. Otherwise, Angular material also uses CDK a lot of time. For example, table component, right? So table component also has a CDK, component development kit, and then it also has a table component which you can go ahead and use as it is. So here, it's the UI library managed by Angular team itself. You can create your own components using CDK. It is optimized and well tested for production use, and this is how you can do it. So you have to just say ng-add Angular material, and that's it. And now let's talk about the most important thing. So build your own tools. So let's say you saw some tool which is available to make your web development faster, or let's say to analyze your bundles or something, right? And then you think, okay, now what in case I want to use it with Angular? And you realize, okay, I started using it with Angular by using some script, and you think, okay, what in case I actually can create this as a tool which is supported by CLI itself. So I don't have to actually go ahead and write my custom script. I can just do it from Angular CLIs. I can say ng analyze, right? I can say ng analyze, and then whatever build tools I have written, that's possible. So Angular allows you by using, there are two ways. There is something known as schematics. Schematics is something which can automate creation, modification of file for you. And it can also automate setup for your library. For example, in case you want to use Angular library, but you need some extra modification, you can do that. So you can just write your own schematics. Angular uses schematics internally. So in case you have already used Angular CLI, you may know ng-generate, and ng-generate, and then you can say component service, all those are schematics. So one great thing I love about Angular is they create some APIs and then they give it to community as well, so that they don't keep it to themselves. I mean, you can also go ahead and use those same APIs. And there is something known as builders. For example, you want to interact with build tools. This time, schematics was more of a file level transformation. But let's say you want to interact or integrate any build tools with your Angular CLI itself, you can go ahead and do that using builders. So you can actually override your build process or integrate any tools with Angular CLI. A super tip. So in case you want to be super productive, go ahead and use Nx. I'm sure most of you might be aware of Nx. It is available for everyone, right? I mean, it's not limited to Angular. So you can say ng-add Narwhal workspace, which will migrate your Angular to Nx workspace. And it provides a lot of amazing things, and then you can just go ahead and use and become super productive. And these are some references. So you can actually read more about Angular on angular.io. As I said, we have This Is Learning platform. In case you are interested to write for us, reach out to me. And then you have dev.to Angular, another publication where you can write about Angular. And then we also have indepth.dev. In case you want to learn about more advanced concept, I think indepth.dev has really amazing content, a lot of amazing content available, advanced level stuff. And that's it for the day. So in case you have any questions, you can ask. And in case you don't have any question now, you can always reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn. And feel free to send me any messages or any questions.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Yada, for the wonderful talk. So yeah, you've explained all of the what Angular can do, right? So yeah, let's go to our Q and A portion.
Mhm.
So I have some set of questions here. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, the first question here is, what are other ways that we can optimize the performance of Angular framework?
So there are a lot of things which is involved in your performance, right? So in case your performance, what the first thing which you have to think is what you are trying to solve, right? So let's say your application may be giving some performance settings because you already have a lot of stuff which is loaded before. I mean, as soon as your Angular application is initialized, so you may have to go ahead and use lazy loading. Make sure you use on push. So in case you are writing components, make sure it is on push. I mean, change detection strategy is on push, so it will not cause a lot of issues in future. And there are a lot of tips which is related to CSS as well, which you can go ahead and use, right? For example, in case you do a lot of nesting inside your CSS file, it may also cause a performance bottlenecks. So you have to keep all those mind. And I think we are going to have another session next month, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we're
where
gonna
we
have
can
another
talk
session.
more
Yeah,
about, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, okay, that's good. Next question, Santosh, is what can you suggest in terms of structuring the folder of Angular?
Okay. That's a really good question because it I have seen it differs from application. I mean, a lot of uh, from team to team, right? What they are comfortable with. But I would say go ahead and use the default folder structure, which is actually suggested by Angular team itself. So if you go to the Angular docs and you will go to the reference section, you will find okay they always tell you that you should not keep more than 7 files inside a single folder, 7 or 5. I'm not sure. I'm it's been long, but yeah, I think not more than 7 files should be available inside a folder. Try to create libraries. So don't try to actually add everything into your single application. Try to create multiple feature libraries and then use it. You will get a lot of advantages that your application will of course will be smaller, and in future in case you decide to use Nx, the migration will be really easy, and then you can also use a lot of features which are actually provided by Nx. You can actually use build caching where you can improve your build times in case your application is really huge.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they can also use Angular elements, right? So it's more of like micro front end.
In case, yeah,
Or
I mean, yeah, right.
yeah,
That's it becomes easy.
yeah, it's easier because all of your code is not on a monorepo. Yeah.
Right.
So next question is uh, what framework can you suggest in terms of using Angular in mobile development? Can you compare Ionic, and
Mhm.
NativeScript and other existing frameworks?
So I have used Ionic framework, and I would say it's really amazing. So earlier days they were just using supporting Angular. Now they support all the frameworks. I mean they recently launched for Vue, but they also support for React. So Ionic is really good. I mean I think you can give it a try. I have tried NativeScript once, and the area where NativeScript really shines it is the code generation, right? So you can actually go ahead and design your entire screen, and then you can just generate the code and use it. So in case you are looking for that kind of experience, I think NativeScript is best. But in case you prefer writing your own code,
Mhm.
and Ionic framework is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion for all of the Angular developers out there. So yeah, I think that's all of the questions. So guys, if you still have questions for Santosh, so you can just leave your comments or your questions here in our FB live. So if we missed this out, so we can reach out Santosh in his social media. Yeah, so he's free to answer all of your questions. So yeah, once again, thank you, Santosh, for accepting our invite. It's really a pleasure for the community to have you and to share your knowledge with us. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the
Thank
invite,
you.
and see you next month again.
Yeah, thank you. See you next month. So it's another jam-packed talk for Angular Philippines. Yeah, and yeah, let's just have a shout out. So Glenn, also one of our community leads, he says thank you, Santosh, for sharing your knowledge.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, Glenn.
Yep. So okay, I think that's all for our meetup, and I guess I'll just have to share again my my screen for our partnerships.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you PWA Pilipinas for partnering with us. So if you're still awake, so you can transfer in our in their community, in their FB page. So they're still having their event there. So it's their second year anniversary this August. And yeah, if you missed other speakers, so these are the list of their speakers. So from August 7th, they have their event. So yeah, I'm also one of the speakers of PWA Pilipinas. So you can go back on our event in their YouTube channel. And yeah, currently this is the talk that is happening right now in their FB community. And also, thank you for Auth0 for partnering with Angular Philippines. And yeah, thank you for Auth0 Ambassador community. So yeah, me and Santosh were included in Auth0 Ambassador community. So this event would not be possible without Auth0. So guys, for Angular developers, for professionals and students that are in our community, so thank you again for supporting this 1 month event, and it couldn't be possible without you. So once again, thank you and good night, everyone. Yep.
Bye bye and have a great weekend.
Have a great day too.